We are going to look at distributive property and combining like terms. The first two we're going to be doing is distributive property. If it helps you, draw that line down the middle. Now, with distributive property, I see that I have 3 right next to a parenthesis. Distributive property is also called multiplication. So I'm going to take 3 and multiply by x to get 3x. Now I have to do 3 times my positive 7. Remember, since there's a plus in front of the 7, it's a positive 7. I get positive 21. I drop down my equals 24. Now it's just a 2-step equation. So I work away from my variable and I subtract 21 from both sides. I'm left with 3x equals 3. Now I divide 3 to both sides, and I'm left with x equals 1. Looking at problem 2, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I draw my line down the middle. The only difference is I have a half, which is okay. I'm going to type into my calculator as parentheses 1 divided by 2 in parentheses times my 4. You should get 2, but don't forget that x that's with it. I then do a half times my negative 10 to get negative 5. Now it's a 2-step equation, so I need to add 5 to both sides. My 5's will cancel, and I'm left with 2x equals 11 plus 5, which is 16. I'm going to write it up here so we have room. In order to get my x by itself, I need to divide by 2 to both sides. My 2's cancel, and I'm left with x equals 8. For these two problems, I need to combine my like terms. I notice that my like terms are positive 4x and negative 2x. I also have other like terms, which are positive 8 and 10. So my reds need to go together and my oranges need to go together. Let's first start with my reds. I have 4x minus 2x, since there's a minus in front of that 2x, which is going to be 2x. I'm going to drop down my plus 8 and my equals 10. Now it's a 2-step equation. So if you see, I have my oranges that I still need to get rid of. So I subtract 8 from both sides. I'm going to write it over here. And I'm left with 2x equals 10 minus 8, which is going to be 2. I then divide both sides by 2, and I'm left with x equals 1. Looking at number 2, I'm going to take the same exact steps. I'm going to first box in my like terms. I have a 6, a 2x, and a minus 3x. My other like terms are going to be my minus 4 and my positive 10. I notice that I have 3 blues. I have one on the right and one on the left and 2 on the right. So let's go ahead and work with my 2 on the right. I have 2x minus 3, which is going to be negative 1x. I drop down my plus 10. Let's write that in green. And everything that's on my other side that I haven't touched yet. Now I need to combine my blues. They're on different sides. So in order to do that, let's start with, it doesn't really matter, but let's get rid of that negative 1x. The opposite of negative 1x, since we're bringing it to the other side, I need to do the inverse, is plus 1x. My 1x is canceled, and I'm left with 7x minus 4 equals positive 10. You don't really need that plus inside in front of the 10, only if you want. Now it's my 2-step equation, so I add 4 to both sides. And then I'm left with, write it up here, 7x equals 14. I need to get rid of my 7, so I divide both sides by 7. and I'm left with x equals 2. I notice now on this one I have distributive property and I need to combine my like terms. So same exact way, I'm going to draw my line. Remember, PEMDAS, please, stands for parentheses. My like terms are not in my parentheses. I don't have any exponents, and next would be multiplication. So I'm going to work with the multiplication part. I'm going to take negative 8 and multiply it by 5n, which is going to be negative 40n. I now need to do negative 8 times positive 6, which is negative 48. I drop down what I haven't touched yet, which is 3n minus 5. Now I look and see that I have some like terms. Some of my like terms are my 3n and my negative 40n. My other like term is negative 48 and negative 5. I see that they're both on different sides, so remember, this is when your inverses come in handy. So let's work with my purples or my n's. I'm going to bring over my 3n to the left side. The opposite of positive 3n is minus 3n. My 3n's will cancel, and I'm left with negative 5 equals negative 5 on the right side. Negative 40n minus 3n is negative 43n, and I drop down my minus 48. Now it's a two-step equation, so I add 48 to both sides. My 48's cancel, and I'm left with negative 43n equals positive 43. Now I need to divide by my negative 43. My negative 43's will cancel, and I'm left with n equals 43 divided by negative 43 is negative 1. This next problem, I have both combining like terms and distributive property that is going to be on both sides. So I'm going to start with my distributive property. I look and see negative 3 times 4 is negative 12x. I then do negative 3 times positive 3, which is going to be negative 9. Now I'm going to do the distributive property on the opposite side. I have negative 4 times 6, which is negative 24x. Negative 4 times positive 1 is negative 4, and I drop down that plus 43 that I haven't touched yet. I'm going to find my like terms. I have negative 24x is a like term with negative 12x. I also have that negative 9x is a like term of negative 4 and positive 43. I'm going to start with the ones that I have on the same side, which is on the right side. So negative 4 plus 43 is going to be positive 39. I'm going to drop down my minus 24x and drop down what I haven't touched yet on the left side. Same thing, I still have my like terms as my x's and my constant numbers. But they're on different sides, so when they're on different sides, we have to use the inverse. So let's go ahead and bring over my minus 24. The opposite of minus 24 is plus 24x. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. My 24's cancel, and I'm left with my 39 on my right side. Negative 12x plus 24x is going to be 12x. And then I drop down that minus 9. Now it's a two-step equation. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. My 9's will cancel, and I'm left with 12x equals 48. I need to get rid of that 12, so I divide both sides by 12. With x equals 4.